Hello and welcome back. Please get out your notes. Get your Chromebook open to section 7.2.1. The link will be in the description below. And please title your notes 7.2.1, How Can I Transform a Sine Graph? Go ahead and pause the video now to get these things done. Now that you've titled your notes, go ahead and read the introduction, Transformations of y equals sine x, starting with in chapter 2. Go ahead and pause the video to read the introduction. Now that you've read the introduction, go ahead and read problem 7-113 and start thinking about what it's asking you to do. Go ahead and pause the video to read problem 7-113. Now that you've read the problem, let's go ahead and talk about what it's asking us to do. First, it wants us to figure out what's happening with x and y. What is x and what is y for the unit circle? Now, what we mean about that is, is x and y, are they angles? Are they sine values? Are they cosine values? What are they? We're asking ourselves, what are x and y? Then we're going to do the same thing for sine x, cosine x, and tangent x in parts B, C, and D. So go ahead and below each graph, or in your notes you would just label A, B, C, and D, write down the unit circle or the equation of the graph and what x and y mean. Go ahead and pause the video now to work on this problem. Now that you've worked on this problem, let's talk about what the unit circle is. So for the unit circle, x is represented by cosine of the angle. So let's call this angle z. So cosine of z, and y is represented by sine of z. However, when we move on to part B for the sine graph, x is represented by the angle in radians and y is represented by sine of the angle, so sine of x. If you haven't already, go ahead and find what x and y mean for the y equals cosine of x and y equals tangent of x. Now that you've taken a moment to find what x and y are in y equals cosine of x and y equals tangent of x, let's go ahead and go over what x and y are for those graphs. So for part C, y equals cosine of x is represented, again, the same as part B, as the angle in radians. And y is represented by cosine of x. In part D, x is once again the angle in radians for that tangent graph. And y is tangent of x. So tangent of that angle. So go ahead and pause the video to check your answers now. So now that we've finished part 113, let's go ahead and go through what we did. So first, we found what x and y represent in the unit circle. We just called the angle some random letter, so we picked z. So we said x is equal to cosine of the angle, so cosine of z, and y is equal to sine of the angle, so sine of z. In part B, we discovered that x was the angle in radians, the x coordinate is the angle in radians, and y is sine of x. So just how the equation says y equals sine of x, we can tell that y is sine of x, y is sine of that angle. In part C, we discovered a very similar conclusion to part B, that x is the angle in radians and y is cosine of x. And in part D, we found that x is the angle in radians and y is tangent of x. Go ahead and make sure your notes are all good for this section, and then move on to the video for 7-114. Thank you. Before we end this video, I just wanted to remind you all to log in to Google Meets. For my class, Miss Red's class, we meet from 11 to 12 every day, Monday through Friday. So if you need to talk to me about how to do any of these problems, please log into Google Meets. If that time doesn't work for you, message me on Google Classroom and we'll figure something out. Please log into Google Meets. If I'm not your teacher, log into whatever Google Meet time your teacher has, or Zoom time, or whatever you have. Please log in and ask for help if you need it. Thank you. Have a great day.